This is the story of a kid from the Brazilian favelas who battled poverty and addiction to become the first fighter in history to cement himself as a two-division champion in both glory kickboxing and UFC. A story fueled by one of the most compelling rivalries in modern combat history. Born in 1987 in São Bernardo do Campo, Alex Pereira's childhood was far from glamorous. Growing up in one of Brazil's infamous favelas, he dropped out of middle school to work as a bricklayer's assistant and later in a tire shop. Young and influenced by his colleagues, Pereira began drinking heavily, eventually developing alcoholism that threatened to consume his future. He had to make a choice: continue down this destructive path, or find a way out. In the year 2009, seeking salvation, Pereira walked into a kickboxing gym. His motivation was simple survival, to escape the addiction that had taken control over his life. What began as therapy revealed extraordinary, God-given talent. Pereira discovered he possessed something extremely rare and equally devastating: one-punch knockout power, particularly in his legendary left hook. Pereira's professional kickboxing career exploded onto the international stage. He joined Glory, one of the world's premier kickboxing organizations, and began a historic run that would see him become the first fighter to simultaneously hold the middleweight and light heavyweight championship belts. But during this rise, another star was ascending: Israel, the last style-bender Adesanya. Their paths would collide and will mark a rivalry that will be remembered for ages to come. Their first meeting came in 2016 in China. After 3 rounds of intense action, Pereira was awarded a controversial unanimous decision victory, a result many, including Izzy, still dispute to this day.
I won that fight, but then I didn't finish the guy. That's what happens when you leave it to the judges, and even the same guy now he watches all my fights.
Their 2017 rematch in Brazil, however, would leave no questions. While Adesanya was pressing forward and controlling the action, Pereira unleashed a devastating left hook that sent him crashing to the canvas, the first and only knockout loss of Adesanya's kickboxing career. While Pereira continued his kickboxing reign, Adesanya transitioned to MMA, joining the UFC and rapidly ascending to become middleweight champion. He established himself as one of the most dominant forces in the sport. Then came the moment that would change everything.
He's gonna be at some pub talking some shit about, "I beat that guy one time."
Those words ignited a spark in Pereira. Despite losing his MMA debut in 2015 by submission, he began training extensively in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and grappling with former champion Glover Teixeira. Pereira signed with the UFC back in 2021 and made an immediate impact. But one fight stood between him and his ultimate goal. In July 2022, Pereira faced top contender Sean Strickland. A single, brutal left hook ended Strickland's night and earned Pereira his long-awaited shot at Adesanya. November 12, 2022, Madison Square Garden. The stage was set for the third chapter of their rivalry, this time in a new sport, with the UFC middleweight belt on the line. Heading into the 5th and final round, Adesanya was up on all of the judges' scorecards. Halfway through the final championship round, Pereira unleashed a devastating assault, cornering Adesanya against the cage and unleashing a barrage of punches that forced the referee to intervene. Their story would see another chapter at UFC 287, where Izzy would reclaim his title with a spectacular knockout. But Alex's journey was far from over. He moved up to light heavyweight, and in November 2023, he defeated Jiri Prochazka to claim the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship. With this victory, Pereira cemented his status as one of the few UFC double division champions and the only fighter in history to become a two-division champion in both kickboxing and MMA. With Poatan established as a champion, a new challenger emerged, one
You're
who
gonna
brought...
put him where he's the weakest at.
I'm not talking about even just, I'm talking about striking.
Oh, you gonna knock him out?
Yeah, bro. I gotta knock. That's the way it has to be done. In my eyes, that's the way I have to do it.
one who brought a different kind of fuel to the fire. Jamal Hill, the former champion who never lost his title in the octagon, was eager to reclaim his throne. But Hill's approach was laced with pointed disrespect, directly attacking Pereira's character and accomplishment.
Mark my words when I say this. I do not plan on taking him down. I do not plan on wrestling him. And whenever I do fight him, standing, I will knock him out.
After a brief, confusing pause in the first round due to a perceived low blow, the fighters touched gloves to restart. In that very instant, Pereira unleashed his legendary left hook, sending Hill crashing to the canvas. The fight was over. Pereira's celebration was a raw, emotional release. A message to all doubters. He had not just defeated a challenger, he had emphatically answered every bit of disrespect, proving that his power and precision require no excuses. The rivalry with Yuri Prochazka was renewed in a dramatic rematch at UFC 303. Their first encounter was a brutal war, but the second left no doubt. Pereira landed a vicious switch kick directly to Prochazka's temple and cemented his status as a light heavyweight great. But in the world of the UFC, there is no rest for the champion. The view from the top is always shifting, and a new dangerous shadow was rising through the ranks. His name was Khalil Roundtree Jr. Roundtree was supremely confident, believing that on the feet they were, at a minimum, equals. The question was whether Roundtree's power and Muay Thai technique could solve the puzzle of Pereira's kickboxing mastery. The early rounds were a technical, high-level striking battle. By the fourth round, Pereira had found his rhythm, significantly outstriking Roundtree and increasing the pressure. Then, in the fourth round, the precision became too much. The fight was over at 4:32 of the fourth round, but a new stylistic nightmare emerged in the form of Magomed Ankalaev. A dominant wrestler and striker, Ankalaev presented a puzzle Pereira couldn't solve at UFC 313, defeating him by unanimous decision to take the light heavyweight title. For the first time in his UFC title run, Pereira had been truly beaten, not by a flash knockout, but by a calculated, dominant performance. Humbled but not broken, Pereira went back to work. He claimed he had fought Ankalaev the first time at only 40% due to a hand injury.
Tô aqui, pé no chão, vai ser uma luta diferente e eu vim recuperar esse...
The stage was set for a rematch at UFC 320. Contrary to predictions of another tactical battle, Pereira came out like a man possessed. He immediately walked Ankalaev down, backing the champion up to the fence. A thunderous punch dropped Ankalaev. With this victory, Alex Pereira became the third fighter to win the light heavyweight title multiple times and further cemented his legacy as one of the most feared and resilient competitors in combat sports history. He proved, once and for all, that you disrespect him at your own peril. And for Poatan, the greatest challenge of all became the very fuel that propelled him to immortality.